Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Game Time Live. It is good to be back. We took the week off. We got a lot of clips up, but it is good to be back here on the show, on the program, the Game Time Network, Game Time Live. It's going to be a good episode. Ramon should be joining me in a minute. No D-Cot here today. It is what it is. I hope D-Cot has a safe trip home. I know he's going to watch or listen to the show on the way home, so shout out to D-Cot. We got a great episode for you guys today. We're going to talk about the NFL games that happened yesterday. We're going to talk about the college football playoff. We're also going to talk about the NBA a little bit as well. A quick 1 hour show, maybe a little more than that. We'll have to see how it goes today, but it's going to be one heck of a show. I'm excited to get into it. Ramon should be joining me here in just a little bit. So as we wait on him, I am actually going to pull up the Zay's Ways NBA tier list. We haven't pulled that up in a while, so that is more than likely what I'm going to start with here to kick off today's show, which is a little different. You know, usually we don't start off with the tier list, but I think that is what I'm going to start off with here today to get us going, because it's been a minute since we've showed the tier list on the live show. So let's go ahead and get this thing pulled up real quick. We're going to start in the Western Conference. So, drum roll, please. I can't do this, Daryl. But there we go. Got the tier list pulled up. Let's go ahead and look over this real quick. So, obviously, a lot's been going on. I'm also going to pull up the standings here as reference, just real quick. So, looking at the standings in the West, obviously the Thunder, they've dropped 2 games. One to Minnesota, the other one was to the Spurs in the semifinals of the play-in tournament. The Spurs and Nuggets are tied for second in the West. I did have the Spurs move down. This was right when they announced the Wemby injury. I'm actually going to put the Spurs right here. I like how the Spurs are playing. I'm going to drop the Rockets, to be honest with you. I like how the Rockets are playing, but I do think, like I said, I still feel that the Rockets and the Lakers are more on par with each other than they are with the Spurs and the Nuggets at this moment in time. So I'm going to put the Lakers right here. Looking at the rest of the standings, you've got Minnesota and Phoenix. So, I mean, they're kind of in the spots that I would have them. Golden State probably needs to get swapped with Phoenix, just kind of based off everything that's been going on right now. Golden State's starting to slip. Portland and Memphis are kind of battling it out. So I'm going to actually go ahead and move Memphis up here. Keep Utah in the I don't know category, because Utah's actually not doing that bad. It's actually them in Dallas, but I'm going to keep Dallas in the draft lottery tier. So that's what I've got for the West. Obviously, we'll get Ramon's thoughts here in a second when he joins me here in a matter of moments. Let's move over to the Eastern Conference. This is the one that we're going to have to move around a lot. So let's go ahead and get into the Eastern Conference real quick. Pistons sit number 1 in the East, but the Knicks did win the play-in tournament. That is something you got to show for, right? I'm going to keep the Knicks in that top spot, but I think these two teams, once again, still on par with each other. Now, this is where a lot of things are probably going to change, right? You've got New York, you've got the Boston Celtics and the Sixers at 3rd and 4th in the East. So I'll pull that up real quick so you guys can see how the standings are looking. Magic had a good run in the play-in, so I like where the Magic are at. The biggest talking point is Cleveland. They are 15 and 14. They started off hot, and then they've gotten really, really, really cold. So going back to the tier list here, I just moved Philadelphia up, but we're going to go ahead and sort this whole thing out. Put Orlando right here, put Boston right here. Miami is in that mix as well, but I'm going to keep Miami down there and probably throw Cleveland not completely out of the playoff tier. I don't think there's anyone I want to put in championship tier right now. This tier is very backed up. And speak of the devil, there he is, Ramon, and welcome to the show.
What's going on, man?
Good to have you. Good to have you. I was going to start with college football, but I was like, I'll wait till Ramon gets in here. So I'm updating the NBA tier list after a couple weeks have been done. You know, the Knicks winning the play-in tournament. Magic had a nice little run in the tournament. But the big thing that I was just about to get into is the struggle of the Cleveland Cavaliers, who started off hot this year. But now if you look at the standings, they're 8th in the East, 15-14. It looks like there could be some moves on the horizon for Cleveland. The big thing we've talked about the last couple weeks on the show is the Giannis sweepstakes. I've talked about Atlanta. Brandon over at Crossroads Sports said Orlando. What is your overall thoughts with the NBA as a whole right now? We haven't been able to get your thoughts for a couple weeks, so I'm excited to see what you have to say. We'll start with NBA, and then we'll get into NFL and college football.
Bad.
So what are you thinking?
As far as the NBA is concerned, man, I think it's like way too early to tell who's who and what's what.
Yeah.
But I can say this. Every time I turn on the TV and I see OKC play, I'm impressed more and more.
Yeah. They did just drop 2 games, but it doesn't really matter, right? They're 24-3. They're rolling.
Right. I'm impressed more and more every time I see those guys play, man. They look really, really good, well coached, fluid.
Yeah.
Enjoy playing with each other. I mean, they look really, really good. Everybody else is about the same, in that same boat that are really good teams. They're in that same boat. San Antonio going to be dangerous at some point. Oh my God, they're going to be dangerous.
Yeah, they were one of the teams that beat Oklahoma City. That was in the semifinals of the play-in tournament. Spurs look really good. I think they would have won the play-in tournament. Condolences to Wembanyama losing his grandma before the play-in tournament kicked off. The finals of it, obviously, but I think the Spurs played a good game. They just fell short to New York, but no, the Spurs look really, really good. Along with Denver, right? I think Denver hasn't been talked about a lot, but they're in the mix. They're definitely in the mix.
Yeah, Denver hasn't been talked about a lot, probably because it's almost to the point now that it's expectation.
Yeah.
We Denver, they should be good. They're supposed to be good. Yeah. They got the big fella, and that dude is dominant whenever he wants to be. So we look at them and be like, oh man, they supposed to be good, so we don't give them that much love.
And even on the tier list, which I'm going to pull back up here, we're going to fix the East. I just threw all these teams in here when I was talking. We'll fix this together. But looking at the West, I kind of have it sectioned off. I'm actually going to move Minnesota up to around this spot. When you look at it, though, I think with the standings kind of match the tier list here, where I do think it's Oklahoma City, Denver. I think there still is a bit of a gap between Oklahoma City and Denver and San Antonio. Reason being is the playoffs is a different animal. I think, we'll see how this Spurs team does with no playoff experience. I could see them maybe losing, underperforming expectations. I do believe they can get to the conference finals, but we will see. But then going back to the tier list here, I think then that second group, Lakers, Rockets, and Timberwolves. And I think the Timberwolves and the Rockets more or less face the same problem. Minnesota's problem is probably more worse when it comes to needing a point guard. I think at some point, both of these teams find a point guard by the deadline, but both teams definitely need a point guard for sure.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that's where I'm sitting at.
I agree with you, man. That's the first for everything, right? We're going into 2026, and Isaiah and myself, we agree. We ain't gonna argue, man. What?
I think right now, I mean, when you look at the West, I think everything is kind of filling out as normal. I think the one underperforming team is Golden State. So shout out to Daryl. He said he thought Golden State wasn't going to be as good as they were. Obviously, Butler gave him that spark at the deadline, but Daryl kind of hit the nail on the head. He didn't think they were going to be that good with the full 82-game season ahead of them with just Butler and Curry. And that has not been the case so far with Golden State. I mean, Portland and Memphis aren't too far behind them when it comes to the standings. I think they'll keep ahead of them by the time we get to the playoffs, but I don't think Golden State, I don't think there's really anything they can do with this roster to truly improve it. Obviously, I think Kuminga may get moved at the deadline, but other than that, I don't know where else you go with this Golden State team.
Man, when they got Jimmy Buckets, man, I was kind of like, either it's going to really, really work or it's really, really not going to be what we think it is. Because, man, Jimmy Butler is like one of the ultimate closers. But you already got a closer.
Yeah.
You got a guy who starts it, middle it, and closes it. He's like Curry's like Michael Jackson, man. And he needs Jermaine and Tito and those guys, and that'll make a great group. He don't need another co-star. He don't need, another top singer. He needs that band behind him.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting to see where Golden State will go. And then obviously, Ramon, we got to talk about them. Those Los Angeles Lakers. I'm curious to see what you have to say. We talk about how we don't usually agree on this show. But we may be disagreeing here. So looking at the Lakers, right? 4th in the West, 19-8. Rockets are 17-8. That's sitting 5th. The Timberwolves are 6th at 18-10. Lakers are playing good. I don't think anyone can really disagree with that. I do think, they're not anywhere near. I said this last week on our show with me, Daryl, and Brandon. We were waiting for the snow to pass. I said I think the Lakers, based off matchups, could get to the Western Conference Finals, but I think the ceiling is a second round exit because there's not a scenario where you don't run into OKC or Denver. I think you run into one of them during the second round at some point, just with the way things are going to map out. Unless Denver has this just historical fall down to 4th place and they drop a couple games late in the year, more than likely you're going to see one of those two teams. I don't like their chances. I'd say it's 90-10. Where I'd say there's a 10% chance the Lakers beat either of those two teams. I think when it comes to San Antonio and Houston, I think they can beat them, but I don't think I'm not too confident. I'd probably say it's a 60-40% thing for me. And then obviously after that, I think they can beat Minnesota. I think they can beat Phoenix and everybody else. But I think for me, they can probably beat Houston or San Antonio, but I don't think there's a chance they beat Oklahoma City or Denver. And that's even like when we get to the deadline. Obviously, the deadline could change how I feel about that. And maybe I'm a little more confident that they beat Houston or the Spurs. But even I don't know how much those deadline moves are truly going to move me over.
Yeah, man. You talked about it earlier, prior to the season, on how they're going to use LeBron James.
Yeah,
and they're playing well because he's accepting his new role.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't think he could.
I thought he would. I definitely was like,
he's accepting his new role. The problem is they're 3 best players: Luka, Reeves, James, in probably that order.
Yeah.
They're 3 best players. None of the 3 can play defense.
Would you see some nights I've been watching, I would say Ayton's maybe 3rd. I think Ayton and Bron swap between 3rd and 4th some nights, and even some nights Ayton's 2nd.
Yeah, they do. They do. But LeBron still, causes some mismatch problems. You got a game plan for him. I don't know how much you go in game plan for DeAndre. When you get that report, he down here on that. The 3 I mentioned, they up here on that.
That's true.
So some of his success is a byproduct of those 3 that I mentioned earlier. Yeah. But the problem is those 3 can't play defense.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing we've talked about is the effort. The effort's been there. I don't think their defense has relatively been bad. Obviously it could be better, right? If I wish Dorian Finney-Smith didn't leave, I think he helped them a lot. But that's where those moves at the deadline are going to mean a lot. What do they do at the deadline to improve this roster? I don't think LeBron gets moved. I would like to see it happen, but I don't particularly see him being moved.
Yeah, I don't see him being moved either. I'm just concerned. I would be concerned as those 3 guys playing defense on playoff caliber teams, not just anybody, playoff caliber teams. Can you defend playoff caliber teams? If you look at teams that are like playoff type teams that played against those guys, let's say, who we got in our tier? OKC, right? And I'm looking at them. OKC scored how many points against those guys when they played?
It was
121.
It was a blowout.
Somewhere around there. That's crazy. Yeah. The Spurs scored 118.
Yep.
Denver. Have they played Denver yet? The Jazz.
I don't remember. I don't know off the top of my head. They've played the Spurs twice. They beat the Spurs once and then lost to them in the play-in tournament.
And they still scored a lot against them both times.
Yeah.
Like that's the scary part of it. Like, man, you're giving up a lot of points. You gave up 116 in a win, you gave up 132 in a loss. That's a lot of points that you're giving up, man. And can you go into a 7-game series and outscore somebody for 4 games.
Yeah.
You know, that's the scary part. And you got to keep those 3 on the floor, because if you don't, you take them off, then now you ain't got the firepower.
I'm trying to find the clip. I don't know if you saw it, Ramon. Did you see the highlight of Chris Finch losing his mind and getting ejected in the game against Oklahoma City?
No, I didn't.
I gotta see if I can find the clip. But he got ejected for. I'm gonna show you the full thing. It was. He was not happy, and I'm gonna pull it up. But he was not happy, to say the least. So I'm gonna go in full screen here. I think hopefully it loads. But so this is what happened, right? Randall gets the rebound. You see him get chopped by Dort. No fouls called. There's a playbook. The play before this is Ant drove in. They think he got fouled as well, and Finch loses his mind. Look, he's walking away.
Oh, I did see this.
Yes, Ant's losing his mind. Absolutely losing it. And Finch just loses it, gets ejected and everything. And it doesn't show you what happened before Randall gets the rebound, right? Ant goes up, he gets fouled, misses it, and Randall gets the rebound. He clearly gets chopped over the arm, and he still doesn't get the foul call. And yet Chris Finch absolutely loses his mind. I want to get your thoughts on that, because I'm going to pull up a quote as well from Chris Finch, where he basically, he just kind of blatantly says that Oklahoma City gets these calls that a lot of the rest of the teams in the league just don't get. What are your thoughts on that? You just credited OKC, and obviously, look, regardless of the calls, OKC is still a great team. What are your thoughts on that? And Finch losing his mind over it.
I'm gonna give you a old situation that got nothing to do with the NBA, right?
Okay.
Many years ago, I coached AAU basketball, coached big time Adidas teams, Indiana Elite and D Rose, right?
Yeah.
But everyone knew Indiana Elite up tempo, D Rose up tempo. They knew my brand, right? We played in your face, hard nosed basketball. We rotated quickly and harsh on defense. Our closeouts were aggressive. We bounced off, we boxed out, and sometimes rolled people out. We were very, very physical, extremely physical. And people will always say, man, they foul a lot. And the answer to that is yes, we do.
Yeah.
But we were so physical and we were consistent with it. At some point, the officials were like, man, that's just who they are. That's what they do.
Yeah.
And they stop calling it, or they give us the benefit. You know, one time I had a kid turn around, kid named Ryan Kleinschmidt, turn around, little bitty guy, block a cat out, ride him out of bounds. Boom, hit him. Ref turns to me, was like, Coach, he can box out and be physical, but he can't move his feet and ride him out of bounds. I'm like, that's your job to call it, not my job to stop it. And we kept doing it. And around the third quarter, guess what they stopped doing? They stopped calling that.
Yeah.
You know? And so OKC, not only are they winners right now, they up in you all the time.
Yeah.
Up in you all the time. So refs expect that. I can't remember. I'm going to find it. There was somebody playing. Man, what's your boy's name that played for the Knicks, played for Cleveland? He out of the league now. Shumpert. He's being interviewed, and he said that when one person plays hard defense, you're going to get a lot of fouls. But when 5 people play hard, you saw that? He said refs don't call it. And that's just the truth. When everybody's on that same string playing hard, playing in you, the refs, they swallow, they hold that whistle because you're just an aggressive team, you know? So, OKC is getting away with stuff, but that's their brand now, and that's how they play. And my advice to other people is be as aggressive. Match fire with fire.
And Finch, this is the quote from Finch. He says, it's frustrating to play this team because they foul a ton. They really do. They foul all the time, and then you really can't touch Shea. It's a very frustrating thing. And then, a lot of people are coming after Shea as well. The Thunder had a lot of fire, right? But I think, and, as I've said, and I think a lot of other people, if you're being hated, people can cheer for you and love you, and that's great. In Kansas City, the Chiefs are a great example. You know how many people are so excited the Chiefs are going to miss the playoffs? You know how many people love to see the Eagles lose, and how many people are calling Jalen Hurts a system quarterback all because he has a Super Bowl ring now? Once you win, you're hated. So I mean, and I've been one to call out the Thunder on the calls and everything else, but I'm not going to sit here and say that they're not the favorites, that they're not this, that they're not that. I don't like some of the calls either. Last night, and I think you agree, when Randall goes back up, he clearly gets chopped across both arms and it doesn't get called. Finch probably has a right to be frustrated, but you make a good point as well, because I know what Click are talking about. If everybody's playing that type of defense all the time, you're more than likely going to get the whistle's not going to get blown. So yeah, these other teams are probably going to have to just be a little more aggressive on defense as well. And the refs may call it for a little bit, but then eventually, hopefully they just let you go. And sometimes there is just refs. I mean, literally, IUEast is a perfect example. Our women's basketball game yesterday, refs were calling everything in the world. 36 fouls in total in the game. We get to the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, and they don't call a foul. They don't call it. They let it play. And one of the girls, she goes like this, and that's always a foul. And our player does a little bit of selling, no call. And there's like 30 seconds left. They get a wide open three. Luckily, they miss it. We win the game by 2. But it's just, I don't know. We've been talking about officiating in football and all these other sports. Sometimes they're going to get it right. Sometimes they're going to get it wrong.
Yep.
So sometimes they're bad though. Like they're really bad calls, and we bring it out. We talk about it.
I tell my players all the time, like, y'all complain about, whether I was coaching basketball or football, I said, we complain, you guys complain, we all complain about the officials when they make a bad call. You know what? What if they start complaining about every time you miss a block or you take a dumb shot? Like, boy, they'll probably have more to complain about than you have, more to complain about you than you got of them.
If I had a nickel, right? If I had a nickel. It's good to talk about this a little bit, just because it was making headlines all across the league. Obviously, Minnesota won this game off a crazy game winner for Ant, and Ant was in the locker room talking about why go for the tie when I got a chance to win the game, and he hits a step back 3 to win it. I like Minnesota. We've talked about Ant a lot on the show. Daryl's a little not high on Ant as maybe as high as I am on him. What are your thoughts on Ant? Because I put it like this, right? I think for Ant, 2 back-to-back Western Conference Finals appearances. He's lost in both of them. Didn't really play great in either of them, to be fair. I think Ant is on. We talked about some of the best players in the league, right? Who's the top 5? And in my head, I said Giannis, Luka, Shea. I'm missing one. Jokic. And then I think Tatum's in that conversation as well. I'm not saying he's 5th, but I think Ant is in there too. And Ant has the resume to back it up. I think for Ant, you've gotten to the doorstep of the finals. You just haven't been able to kick the door in and get to the finals. Maybe, I'm not saying win it, but you've gotten to 2 WCFs in a row, and you've lost in basically 5 games each year. So what are your thoughts on Anthony Edwards? He's only gotten better as a shooter as we've continued to progress and see how his career has played out. Minnesota really needs a point guard, but I think if they do get that point guard, somebody young that can run the offense, do what they need to do, I think Minnesota, I'm willing to put them in that conversation, because I'd even say right now, there may be a step behind the Lakers and the Rockets right now. I'd say there may be even a little bit of a step behind there, and they're multiple steps behind the Spurs, the Nuggets, and the Thunder.
I think Anthony Edwards is probably arguably he's not the best player in the NBA, but he may be the most talented. And those are 2 different things. He's not the best player, but he may be the most talented. Now we're looking at him like he got to take the next step. The boy been in the league, what, 5 years?
No, and you make a good point. Yeah.
He's been in the league 5 years, and he's been to the conference championship. How many out of those 5?
Twice.
2. He was the rookie of the year. Was he the rookie of the year? Runner up or something like that?
I think it was him. It was either him or LaMelo. I mean, they were in the same draft, so it was one of the 2.
He was in that conversation. So in his 5 years, he's been in the top 2 or 3 as rookie of the year, and he's been in the MVP vote twice.
Yeah.
In 5 years. And we talking about he ain't there yet.
I'm just like, I'd like to see him get to that finals appearance, but it's only harder now for them. It's way harder.
I would love to see him get there too. Would love to see him get there. But if we just step back for a second and say, in 5 years, where this guy has come from, where he's been, man, it's ridiculous what he's done in 5 years.
Yeah. Would you rather have him or Tatum?
Today?
Obviously,
him.
Tatum's hurt, so it's hard to
That's what I said today.
really hard to gauge. But if we're going off what you've seen them do, right? I think we've seen Tatum obviously has the championship, but and Ant has a good resume as well. I would probably still take Tatum if it were right now.
Hey man, I don't know, because as much as I will say I would take Tatum, man, Tatum had a sidekick that Edwards ain't got.
That sidekick's playing well right now. He is elevated Boston.
That's what I was about to say. Like, Tatum's not in, and Boston is what, second in the East?
Yeah. It's like they're like third or fourth. I'll pull back the standings up here in a second.
So it's crazy. Like, we thought they wouldn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And they're showing right now that they're third right now in the East, right?
And Philly's sitting in that spot as well. I mean, Philly's floating around.
It's crazy, man. We thought that this was going to be a terrible team, that they were completely rebuilding, and they're like, "Nah, we about to make the playoffs." So as much as I love Jason Tatum and I think he's awesome, like he ain't got the sidekick, that your boy had. He ain't have Jaylen Brown on the team. He ain't have another guy who was on the USA Olympic team and Derek White. He ain't have a defensive player like your boy that got traded last year.
Luka?
What's his name?
It's about Luka?
No. What's your boy?
Oh, Cat. It's about
Cat. Yeah. Man, he ain't got all these people, man, that Anthony Edwards had. I mean, Anthony Edwards don't have all these people that he has or had. So I love Jason Tatum. I think he's extremely talented. I just think Anthony Edwards may be the most talented player in the league. He's not the best. He's not the best. He's got to put it together mentally. He's got to marry everything together. He's got to become a little bit more, clutch, as we use that generic term. Mm-hmm. But man, as far as talent wise, I don't know too many people that got as they say nowadays, the bag.
Yeah, if I had to put it like my top 5 players in the league, I'd probably say Shea's 1, Jokic is 2. If you want to put Jokic 1, that's fine. I'm not going to sit here and be like, you're wrong. Like, I think it's either of those two. I would probably say Giannis at 3. I think a lot of people are discouraging on what Giannis has done. And, I know people are like, oh, well, he doesn't have a jump shot. Giannis clearly has not needed that to be successful. We'll see where he ends up. But I think, Giannis probably sits in 3rd for me. I think Ant is 5th. I forgot who I was, but I got Luka at 4th. And then I've got Ant at 5th right now. That's probably where I've got it seated. Yeah, if I take my Laker bias out of it, I'd like to put Luka 3rd, but I think with the way Giannis has gotten it done, obviously the 3 guys ahead of Ant and Luka are the guys that have championships, right? So that's probably my other benefactor in there. Let's go back to the East. I want to go over the rankings real quick and also the tier list. When you look at the East, obviously it's New York and Detroit, and then everybody else is moving around week by week, day by day. Let me pull this up for you. When you look at the Eastern Conference, is there a notable team for you that, obviously the standings are very tight from basically 9th all the way up to 3rd. Is there a team out of that group that you think could maybe jump ahead of this group? Toronto looked really strong at one point throughout the year, and they still are. I mean, 17-12. Toronto has looked really good. Obviously, Philadelphia with Edgecombe and Maxey look good. We just talked about Boston. Orlando kind of helped their record by having that run in the play-in tournament. So there's a lot of things going on, and then you also got Cleveland on the downside, and then Atlanta's one of those suitors for Giannis. What do you see for the East going forward? Obviously, New York and Detroit sitting at the top, though.
Man, for me, the East is one of those ones where 2 things are going to happen. All right. Somebody's identity is going to become real strong to be the reason why they become really good. And then they're going to get a trade that helps their identity and how they play ball, and they're going to emerge. So if you play a certain way, you have a certain identity, you have a certain culture, and then you trade out and get that piece that fits your identity and your culture, I think that you can make a quick run in the East. Because I look at, 3 through 9, and I'm like, in a blink of an eye, this all can change.
Yep.
In a blink of an eye. Now, I think, if you look at all of them, I can't see the Celtics making a move. I don't think they'll make no real moves.
No.
So, I don't know if this is their ceiling and they're hoping just to hang on and stay around that 600 level.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Sixers will make a move, but 5 through 9, I can see all of them making a move.
Yeah.
And it's out the door. If you can get Giannis, you make a move no matter where you're sitting at.
Where do you like Giannis going specifically out east? I know out west we've heard San Antonio and Oklahoma City because they've got the pieces to do it. But I think a lot of the more realistic options are in the east. I think Miami's there. Atlanta, I think, is my personal favorite. I've heard Orlando as well as a potential suitor. But I think for me, I think Atlanta has the assets to do it. They have New Orleans pick, which is projected to go in the top 3. I think you can move Trae Young with how well Jalen Johnson is playing as the number 1 guy with Trae Young being out. And when you're Milwaukee, you get a guy like Trae Young. Obviously, you got to fix the roster to build it around him, but you still got someone that can sell tickets. I've heard Miami, Cleveland may now be in the mix. I don't know if Giannis would particularly want to go to Cleveland, but I heard the tensions are rising in Cleveland. Where do you like Giannis going?
Atlanta would be cool if they got Trae Young. Yeah, I don't think a Trae Young Giannis marriage would work.
Yeah, so you got to trade. You got to trade
Trae Young out. Cleveland will be interesting because I guarantee you, I will bet my salary if Giannis somehow went to Cleveland, LeBron will be there in a hot second.
Okay, all right.
In a hot second. So you talk about LeBron out of LA, man. Giannis go to Cleveland, man. Him and Bronny gone. They're going back to Cleveland, man. You know what I'm saying? So I can see that. I would like to see Giannis in Orlando or Miami.
Brandon said Orlando on last week. He came on our show. We did a live stream special last Saturday when it was snowing real bad. We went for like 2 hours, and yeah, Brandon said he likes the fit of Orlando.
Yeah, those two I think I really like. And while y'all was in the snow and the cold, man, I was in sunny Tampa.
I know, yeah.
Man, I didn't want to come back. I didn't want to come back.
With Giannis, I guess you know how Giannis would feel if he moved down to Miami or Orlando, huh?
Oh my God, he would love it. Love it. He already know that though. I ain't gotta tell him.
He'll be all right. I think Orlando could be an option. It's funny. Everyone's talking about Orlando where, when they have their 2-star players out on the floor, Franz Wagner and Paulo, they don't play as well. But when one of them's sitting, the Magic play better. So obviously one of them would get moved. It would probably be Franz getting moved if they were trying to acquire Giannis. Let's go ahead and fix this tier list up, and then we can move over to the NBA and college football. We've got D. Cott in the building watching the show as he's driving home from Tennessee. And then we've also got Eli watching the show as well. He agrees with you, Cleveland, LBJ. That could be a done move. We'll have to see how it goes. I don't think LeBron gets moved, but we will have to see. I think he'll stay in LA for that last year, Ramon. I don't see LA moving him.
Hey, man, let Giannis go to Cleveland. You see,
he can go to Cleveland in the offseason. I don't see a trade facilitating.
Go live from the U-Haul spot.
I don't know. We'll have to see. Let's look at the tier list here, Ramon. Let's sort out this middle pack of the East. It's kind of hard to do, but we're gonna try and do that today. Where do you want to start? I think obviously Cleveland's been struggling on the back half of the middle of the year. They're almost at 500. Where are you looking at? Who do you want to move? I don't think any of those teams in playoff tier need to particularly move up to the championship tier. I don't have these teams in any particular order, so I'm not saying Toronto's at the top of this list. But what are you thinking? Who moves down to play-in and who stays in playoffs?
Only thing I can see is that, Atlanta and Cleveland down in the play-in. Everything else looks good.
Really? Okay.
Everything else looks good.
D-Cut, I don't agree. I hope Brown isn't saying. Brian don't need to be in LA for another year. He's leaving after this year. He can
Man,
ride off in the sunset in Cleveland.
Giannis to Cleveland gives Cleveland a chance to win a championship. LeBron needs that extra ring so he can tell people he the GOAT and run around like this and say he better than Jordan. So if Giannis go to Cleveland, man, he out of here.
There you go. I'm gonna move. Orlando's playing well, but I'm gonna put Orlando probably last in this playoff tier spot. They had a nice run in the plan to fix their record, but now it's just normal regular season. You got to focus on getting to the playoffs. I want to see how Orlando does in about 10 games or so. I like Toronto a lot, Ramon. Obviously, Philly and Boston are ahead of them in the standings, not by much, but I really do like Toronto. This is kind of what we talked about with Boston and Indiana being out of the playoff race, more so Indiana. I feel like Toronto's kind of slotted into that spot, maybe along with Philadelphia as well. What are your thoughts on Toronto? Are you buying into them a little bit? Are you buying into any of the three, Toronto, Philadelphia, or Boston?
I haven't seen Toronto enough to really give you probably because I just don't want to see them. So
fair enough, yeah.
But Boston, man, I look at Boston and they look like they're playing well. They're looking like addition by subtraction. I hate to say this. I hate to say it, but they're not missing a beat, man.
Yeah.
They're not missing a beat. So
the biggest surprise here is Philadelphia, though, like by far. The biggest surprise here is Philly.
Man, well, I was up on some Philly players when we did our best players when we did our ranking.
Yeah.
So, for me, maybe it was wishful thinking, hopeful, but I expected those guys to play well and to be out. To me, Boston is a shock. And you know that I'm down. You big on Orlando and I'm not. So when I see Boston and Orlando up there, I'm kind of like, oh wow.
Yeah. It's crazy. I'm hoping for Orlando. They can figure it out, have a good run in the regular season. We saw last year those two teams played in the playoffs. Orlando showed something, right? They didn't win it, but they showed us something. Maybe Orlando, it's one of those situations where they're not a high seed, but they actually win in the first round and then they continue to cruise. Maybe the regular season just isn't for them. Minnesota's probably a great example of that, right? They were the 7th seed, beat the 2nd seeded Lakers. Maybe that's the case with Orlando this year. We will just have to wait and see. We spent 37 minutes on the NBA. Let's move over to the title of the video. The Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers. We'll start with NFL, and then we'll end off on the college football playoff. There was another game as well yesterday, Eagles and Commanders. Eagles win the division. I'm not going to spend much time on that, Ramon, because Philadelphia takes care of business. They win the division. Chicago, I made them the title of the video. They rally back and they win. Ramon, I think you're here. You've been here for a couple shows. We've added some sound effects. So I'm going to give myself a round of applause because I said in our first NFL preview here, I said Chicago had the best offseason. I think they have the ability to win the NFC North. And Caleb Williams, I mean, look, Patrick Mahomes got hurt. We're going to be all right. We got Caleb Williams slinging the football, looking like one of the top quarterbacks in the league.
Man, no, he's not, dude.
Your thoughts on the Bears?
Man, no, the Bears are playing well. That defense is super. And Caleb Williams is going to give you wow moments. That he's going to always give you. But I'm tired of podcasters and personalities talking about he's playing well when his own coach says other things. His own coach is like, hey, he's got a lot to work through. We got to change some stuff up. We got to get better doing this. We got to be able to do this. We protect him this way. Like the coach, it's like somebody in the street telling me what my son is. Man, that's my son. I know what he is. Good God almighty, man. But with that being said, the Chicago Bears are playing really well, man. He's got those guys playing inspired ball, in all three phases, whether it's offense, defense, or special teams, man. That's a hell of a coach in there in Chicago. And yeah, they got a chance. They're going to probably win the division, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Would have never thunk it. Yeah, that's shocking.
I got to get your thoughts on this, right? As someone from Gary, are you gonna be a Bear? Are you gonna be a slight Bears fan if they move to Gary, Indiana?
Hey, hey, I'm not gonna ever be a Bears fan, even if they move to my hometown, Gary, Indiana. B, I don't think the NFL would approve the move,
Yeah,
taking a team out of Chicago. You know,
and
that's a
but Gary,
yeah. Hey, we
I
got the
don't.
space.
Yeah, I know, but
We
it's
got the space, and we got the highway system, and I mean we can definitely support that team for space and things
mhm,
like that, and for them to do what they want to do from a physical standpoint,
yeah.
you know. But those guys, you know, the NFL teams, they're still going to be, you know, they're still going to live somewhere else unless we build some more
Yeah,
luxury type
and,
hotels
and
for them to
that's
stay in.
and that's what I was just going to ask you. You know Gary better than me. From an outsider's perspective, I've heard half of Gary is not bad, and the other half is basically abandoned. So I don't. But that's from, like I said, that's from an outsider's perspective. I don't know when's the last time you've been to Gary or whatnot, but you know, I just when I think of Gary, I'm like, man, why would an NFL team move to Gary when from someone that's always lived in India his whole life, you've heard nothing but bad things.
Man, so a lot of the things that you hear about Gary are widely over exaggerated, uh, but some of them are true. And let's keep it a buck, 100, or whatever comes first.
Yeah.
But our current mayor, uh, Mayor Melton, is that, as the kids would say, that him. He's him. Dude is good. And the
Yeah.
things that he's doing in Gary, Indiana right now to bring energy, rejuvenate the community, the city is tier one. Wow, the guy's good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be worried about, safety, logistics, things like that. I wouldn't be worried about that. My man, him and his government, his constituents going to have that taken care of. My concern would be uh, how quick they want to do it and how more things we would have to adjust to make it a complete NFL experience.
Yeah.
And that we had that they would have to make a decision, and we had to get on top of it as a city immediately. And I think that he can. I think that Mayor Melton can get that done. I got all confidence in him. What I don't have confidence is all the other owners okay in that move.
Yeah.
That's what
I
I
don't
don't.
that's
I don't have
my
that
point.
type of confidence. Now I don't know how that process goes. If it's the owners have to agree on that move, if the NFL has to agree on that move, what the vote is, whatever it is, you know.
I don't see that vote passing through either though. Yeah.
But because and I think it has less to do with Gary, Indiana, and more to do with, man, it's Chicago
Yeah. Yeah.
and Chicago, New York, L.A. They gotta have teams.
And somebody made a great point. I don't know what show it was. Usually he doesn't have a good take, but he had a good take this time around. He said when you're Chicago, obviously you'll still have the Bulls, but he's like, look at this. Look at St. Louis, for example. When you think of St. Louis back in the 2010s, what did you think of? The Rams. When you think of St. Louis, what do you think of now? Nothing. You think of maybe the arch that they got, that signature arch, but nobody talks about the city of St. Louis. Maybe if they had a basketball team, right? They don't. There's no notable college football team. There's
Yeah, but
St. Louis. When look at
and
the
back in the 70s, you like the Cardinals. The
look,
80s, you like the Cardinals.
look at Oakland. They've lost everything. Raiders,
Yeah.
Warriors. They've lost everything. I don't think Chicago would be hurt. They'd still have the Bulls, but the Bulls aren't great. And it sucks for Bears fans because this team is finally, competitive. I'm not going to say a contender, but they're competitive. And now they may be moving. Now it's not that far of a move. I think Soldier Field to where they want to move, which is Gary, is like a 40-minute difference. But still, the Chicago Bears should be in at worst, at best, the state of Illinois. If they're not, there's a lot of teams are not. New York. The New York Giants are in New York. There's a lot of teams that say they're in this city, but then they're not. The Los Angeles Clippers are in Inglewood, right? So, I'm not saying they got to be in Chicago, but they've got to be in the state of Illinois. They can't. Really, Indiana, the Gary Bears, the Indiana Bears, none of that has a ring to it. The Chicago Bears has a great ring to it, And they
The
wouldn't
GI,
change the name, but still.
hey, the GI Bears. I like that.
we're gonna see what happens. I'm gonna pull up the NFL standings as well. But where are you buying on Chicago, right? I think this NFL season, when we did our predictions, and I kept tabs on them. Most of our picks are nowhere close to what these teams' records truly are. I mean, hell, we had the Bucks going 12-4. That is not the case right now. What are your?
I think my pick on the 49ers is pretty accurate.
Let me look. I'll pull it up. But give me your thoughts on the NFC.
The NFC, man. I think we're gonna see.
It's closer than we all thought.
It's way closer than we all thought, but
and that goes for the division specifically.
I just think that Philly gonna do it again, man.
Really?
Philly gonna do it again. I'm not bought on Seattle and the Rams.
I'm pretty bought on both of those teams, actually. Especially with the way they just played on Thursday night. I could see them competing with the Eagles right now. Eagles don't look that good. The way I hyped up the Eagles at the start of the year is not the Eagles team that's been there. And
no, I don't. The Eagles don't look that. This is the funny thing. The Eagles don't look that good, right? And they still 10-5. And the Rams and the Seahawks look that good, and they 11-4 and 12-3. So my bad look as good as your great.
Is that the Rams? Is that the Rams great though? I don't think that's them being great.
I think the 11-4 Rams team right now is pretty high.
I think the Seahawks. I mean, I do feel they're more of a one-year wonder type of thing, which may be a little disrespectful. But I mean, maybe it's more because of Jackson Smith and Jabba and I don't know. Hopefully I said it right, but I think it's more because of him taking that leap at receiver. Maybe that's why Darnold's playing so well. That's why Seattle has seen a lot of success. Defense is really good as well. And then there's Chicago, where it's like, okay, how real competitive are they going to be? If you get one of those West Coast teams out in the winter, if you get a home playoff game, which they probably will, say you get Seattle and Chicago. Seattle's probably going to be able to keep up with them because they play in the cold a lot. You get the Rams in Chicago in January, good chance Chicago has a chance to pull out a win. I think this is going to be an interesting run to the playoffs. If I had to give you my Super Bowl prediction, I'm going to give you my biased Super Bowl prediction, and I'm going to give you my realistic Super Bowl prediction. My bias is Bears and Chargers. That is my biased Super Bowl prediction. I like the Bears a lot, not only because I said they could be good in the offseason, and it's good to see them proving me right. I was completely wrong about Atlanta, but we're not going to talk about Atlanta on this show today. But that's my biased one. Obviously, Justin Herbert, Chicago's playing well. But my actual Super Bowl prediction right now, if I had to think about it, is probably either Eagles or Rams versus the Bills. I mean, for the Bills, it's kind of like the Thunder that last year. There's no excuse for the Bills. Mahomes is not in the way. The only team that's in your way is New England, and you can beat New England. You can beat New England.
Here's my thing about the Bears. All right, they are 11-4, but they got a plus 33 differential.
Yeah,
that's a good point. You taking that into the playoffs, like you living off big plays, you living off turnovers, you living on the edge. You're not putting teams away. Now it's something to say that you are winning.
Yeah.
And it's something to say that you can win these close and tough games. But to say that you're going to do it multiple times in the playoffs in the Super Bowl, that's pretty tough. Yep. Versus a team like the Rams or the Seattle, they're plus 164, plus 158. They putting, as the kids would say, belt to ass.
BTA. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm like, that for me, if we look at if we're applauding the Bears at 11-4 with a plus 33, why are we applauding a 10-5 Philadelphia with a plus 60?
Yeah. Yeah.
But that goes back to expectations. We had low expectations for Chicago. We had high expectations for Philadelphia. When they both about the same place, but it's kind of viewed different through different lenses, through different optics.
Yeah.
If I had to give my biased opinion, the Super Bowl would be San Francisco 49ers,
of course,
and the New England Patriots.
Oh, not the Chargers?
No. They should get their head coach should be suspended for hiring Sharon Moore.
Well, he's too busy coaching up, getting ready for a Super Bowl run. That's what he's getting ready for. Justin Herbert and the crew, they're gonna get it done.
But New England Patriots got an awesome running back. I'm not really sure what college he went to, but awesome.
I think I got an idea.
They got a head coach who's phenomenal. I can't recall what college he played for. I can't remember what college he played for. Phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I got to go with the Patriots. And then I'm a bang 49 gang fan. They're my guys from way back. So that's my biased opinion. Now, if we go my realistic opinion, I think it's going to be Philadelphia and
or do you want to say New England?
Philadelphia. I don't want to say this, but I'm gonna say it. I'm thinking it's gonna be Philadelphia and Denver.
I don't think it'll be Denver. I still don't buy Denver, man. I still don't buy Denver.
Hey,
I just don't buy them.
I buy them.
I don't buy them. Not yet. I gotta. Once we get the playoffs, I'll see. I think they lose. They'll get a bye. I think they lose in the divisional round. I don't buy Denver at all.
I tell you who I don't want to play if they make it to the playoffs.
Who?
The Texans.
Yeah, they're hot. They're hot. Yeah.
If they make it, I don't want to play that defense.
Nope.
No.
Nope. And I think that's where a lot of these teams are going to have their momentum. What's that team that gets into the playoffs that's on a run? I think your Niners have a good case if they can get in. I think they can get in. Obviously,
if the Niners get in, and make any type of noise, man, my man got to be coach of the year.
Yeah.
Because everybody heard him. Everybody,
that hurts for me to say. Like, I don't want to say that about the Niners. I want them to lose. So, but no, I agree with you.
Everybody in street clothes.
With the way this year has been, yeah, I got to give them props. NFC South, just abysmal to look at. Do the Panthers win the division? and if so, how much of an accomplishment is that really for the Panthers?
I don't know, but I tell you who ain't gonna win the division. They got an E by their names, and somebody was cheering for the Dirty Birds. Oh yeah, man, them Atlanta Falcons are terrible, man. And you had them going undefeated, right?
I didn't have I don't look. We're not gonna bring up the fact. That was a low blow, Ramon. That was a low blow.
I had to do it.
We know they're not going to win the division. They're still not. Michael Penix is out. That kind of killed my whole campaign, right? Because Penix went out.
If Penix was dead. If Penix was
in, I don't know about all that. If Penix was in, maybe they're fighting for the division right now because Tampa Bay. I don't know what happened. I mean, I don't know what happened. Carolina. How big of an accomplishment is that for Carolina though? If they can win the division,
a huge one.
Obviously, they probably lose in their first playoff game, but you know what? It doesn't matter. At least he got there. And what a turnaround.
Big time.
We were having questions about Bryce Young at one point. Like, man, is this guy?
Hey, Bryce Young, your boy in Jacksonville, all them cats.
Yeah.
That's big time, my man in Jacksonville, because I was ready to close the door on that dude.
So was I. Yeah. Yeah.
So I got to give them his props, man. They both of them. A lot better than what I had thought they were going to be.
Yeah. Speaking of that third team in the AFC South, we didn't get your thoughts on it. Your thoughts on Phillip Rivers coming back to play for the Colts last week, and then obviously he's going to play this week. What are your thoughts on that?
I understand it, man, completely. Yeah. Most people don't. Like, you got a guy, he's going into a system that he's familiar with.
Yep.
He's dealing with people who he's familiar with. They're familiar with him. They give them he gives them the quickest solution to a bad problem.
Yeah.
Like, if anybody can learn the adjustments we've added to this offense, you've already got the baseline. You already got the understanding. You know the city. You know the organization. You know how we practice. You know everything. You're falling into a situation that you already know.
Yep.
Versus bringing in somebody who don't. That I don't know how you practice. I don't know how you are truly as a person. You don't know how we practice. You don't know our language, our terminology. You don't know when I'm laughing and I'm joking or I'm serious or my demeanor. I don't know how we're going to react together. Like, yeah, there's a lot of people that you could have brought in that's probably better than him, or would be would or not. I don't want to say better, but yeah, better for lack of a better term, better than him. But he may be the best fit right now. And you got to think, whoever you bring in, you're getting rid of anyway after the season, that you're not keeping this contract. So you don't want to bring in a young guy that you got to take on more contract, right? You want to bring on somebody that you got to take on more contract and probably dump somebody else. And then let's say you bring in a young guy.
Yeah.
Let's say you bring in a young guy, right? And he does remotely well, and then let's say Danny Dimes decide that I'm going to leave Indy after the season and go somewhere else. Now you got a QB.
Well, he's not. He ain't gonna be. I don't think he gets signed by anyone just because of the injury.
I mean, but after everything, let's say for some reason he's not here after everything's done, right? You got a room full of young quarterbacks.
Just let them play.
So now they're just in a bad situation, man. So they got a temporary stopgap.
Yeah.
And then we'll regroup in off season.
Does Ballard keep his job? We talked about this last week. What do you think? I think yes.
I think it depends on how this ends out.
Yeah.
He got 3 more games, right? Let's say they get hot and win all 3. Right?
11-6. More than likely.
You keep your job.
Yeah. Because you're playing a lot of divisional games down the stretch too. So yeah, he probably keeps his job if they do that. If they win, I mean they've got to win this week though, man. I mean they have been losing. They've got to win this week. 4 losses straight. They've got to pull something out because Jacksonville 5 straight. They've won 5 straight. Houston's won 6 straight. Like, here we go. Like, this is we talked about this doomsday scenario after that loss to Kansas City. Me and Daryl did, and that doomsday scenario got unimaginably worse with the Daniel Jones injury. So, I mean, it's gonna be interesting for sure.
Man, let's say they go, they lose the next 3 and got a 7-game losing streak in this 8 and 9. Man,
everybody may be out.
A lot of people packing.
Or say Gordon may be cleaning house. We're gonna end this off with college football. Giants are looking to interview Marcus Freeman. Yeah, I mean, just like Notre Dame, he's gonna miss the playoffs for a couple of years, but it's all right.
Hey, Marcus Freeman need to go ahead and go to NFL, get that extremely large, huge purse.
Yeah,
go ahead and lose, get bought out, be on the TV for a year, and then go pick whatever college he wants to coach at.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about college football to end this off. Ramon, I want to throw you a hypothetical scenario about the Kansas City Chiefs and your beloved Ohio State Buckeyes, right? So let's say Kansas City, Mahomes is going to be out for a whole year next year, right? What year is Jeremiah Smith as a sophomore?
Yep.
Let's just say the Chiefs, they draft some 3rd round quarterback, 4th round, sign some mediocre backup. They go, let's say 3-14 or something, or 3-15, whatever. How many games they play in the NFL now? It throws me off. It's 17, right? So they go 3-15. I don't know. Let's say they have a really bad record. When if they get their hands on Jeremiah Smith? That is something to keep in mind now with how bad their record will be, because obviously he can't enter the draft this year, but next year he'll more than likely enter the draft. There's a good chance the Chiefs can get their hands on Jeremiah Smith now. With Mahomes being out, Kelsey probably retires, I assume. There's no way he's going to play a year with no Mahomes. There's a realistic chance that the Chiefs don't have to do much to reload. This is kind of like Boston in a sense, like the Celtics.
Yeah.
Great chance to reload, and you don't got to do much.
Hey, if they got Jeremiah Smith and you get a healthy Mahomes back, and
it's gonna be like Brady. It's gonna be like Brady coming back.
A rejuvenated Andy Reid, man, dude, who's extremely creative. That could be. Don't let him get a decent run game.
Yeah.
And that'd be crazy.
Woo!
That would be insane.
I was thinking about that. I'm like, man, Chiefs have a chance to reload if they just play their cards right, do a bit of tanking. They could play their cards right next year for sure. That would be great. All right, Ramon, let's end it off with the college football playoff. This weekend we had those take place. Oklahoma blows a 17-0 lead to Alabama. Bama goes on to the next round to play IU. Miami gets to win over A&M to play your Buckeyes. Tulane loses to Ole Miss, and then Oregon beats JMU. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. The committee. Obviously, a lot of people are not happy that Tulane and JMU got in. I am still of the belief that Tulane deserved to be in because of the rule set. JMU did not need to be in, though. The rule set, one of them was going to get in. The committee did not need to put a second one in. They chose to do that, right? So I'm not gonna say nothing about Tulane, but JMU should not have been in. I think we all know that.
Here's the thing. The committee followed the guidelines for both teams. They followed the 100% guidelines.
Yep.
So both teams deserve to be in, as far as the guidelines are concerned. The problem is or the most deserving teams in. Those are two different things.
Yeah.
All right. The best teams are one, the deserving teams are other, because that deserving is based on the guidelines that you put in. The first problem is I don't even blame the committee. I 100% blame the ACC.
There you go.
They need to fix their.
And Tulane beat Duke earlier in the year.
Because you know what? You know why we had this? Because the ACC got a different policy guidelines on how they break ties.
Yeah.
So if ACC is like normal conferences, Miami's in the ACC championship. So we don't have this problem.
Nope.
We don't have this problem.
But Notre Dame more than likely gets in. But
I'm
going to continue my narrative. Vanderbilt should have been in over Notre Dame. So I'm going to keep pushing that agenda.
Oh, man. Lila, you and that little midget should not have been in there, man. Notre Dame should have been Notre Dame should have been in there, man. Notre Dame should have been.
They don't.
They
didn't deserve it, man. They didn't want to play postseason football anyways. They didn't want to play their bowl game, so
man,
they can have fun sitting at home.
I wouldn't play a bowl game either. So
well, now you're not playing nothing. So,
but if we talk about teams that shouldn't have been in there, man, we got to talk about a lot of different teams, man, because we moving the goalposts on what we consider teams that really should be in and really shouldn't be out.
Should Alabama have been in?
Yeah, I think Alabama should have been in.
Even though the conference, a lot of people were saying they shouldn't have been in because the conference championship lost. But Daryl made a great point. If you punish these teams for losing the conference championship, we're going to go to a point where we're not going to have those games.
We're going to look. I'll take the fine. I'm not going to play.
Yeah,
I'm not going to play in that because I can lose, and so you ain't got a chance to lose this. I'm not doing that. But let's talk about teams that let's talk about teams that should not have been in there. There was the elephant, the person that we're not talking about, Texas A&M. When you break down their schedule,
okay,
I'm looking.
Okay,
they didn't play Alabama.
No,
they
didn't play Georgia.
Didn't play Georgia.
No,
they didn't play Texas.
No, they did play Texas and lost. They lost to Texas.
Oh yeah, they lost Texas. They lost to Texas. I'm sorry, they didn't play Vandy.
No, they didn't play Vandy, who should be it, who's better than Notre Dame this year. That's for JB. Go ahead. You can... did you freeze? I think Ramon froze.
Just 1 second.
There you go. The
best team that they played The only two teams they played was Notre Dame that they won by 1, and
Still
Texas
win.
that they lost by 10.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So everybody else they didn't play. So
yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. How do you think Miami does against Ohio State? Obviously, you're a Buckeyes fan. What are you thinking?
BTA? BTA?
You don't think Miami keeps it close? You think it's going to be a blowout?
Dude,
Ohio State runs the table.
They scored 10 points the other day?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on. Their cornerbacks are not very good.
Sorry, Miami.
Their corners are not very good.
So Jeremiah Smith's going to have a field day.
Man, and Jeremiah Smith already mad because he didn't win the Blishnikov Award. Oh, man, it's going to be ugly.
Guns blazing?
Blazing. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't go up top the first play of the game. Be like, hey, we're going up top.
I'll keep your word on that. We'll see.
Man.
We'll see how that.
I'm gonna tell you the game to watch out for. Indiana, Alabama.
Okay, yeah.
I think Indiana's a better team.
I do too.
I think Indiana should give them the business. But I do also think if Alabama keeps this game close, man, you're gonna have the ghost of Nick Saban and Crimson Tide from the past show up, and now Indiana's not gonna be playing that Alabama team. They're gonna be playing that Alabama legacy because this game is really close, and that's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, I tweeted this. I'm just gonna call myself out here. I tweeted this after Oklahoma went up 17-0, and I shouldn't have tweeted it, but I'm gonna show you guys the tweets. That's what I put right after Oklahoma went up 17-0. And then as you can see, I went underneath it and I said, never mind. I gotta give props to Alabama. You know, after that Georgia game, and I talked to Daryl on the phone. Daryl even said I didn't think they were gonna beat Oklahoma. He said so he didn't think that either. But props to Alabama. I mean, they got it done when, you know, I had Oklahoma winning before the game, and then once it was 17-0, I said, man, they're gonna get it done. They're gonna win this, and then 17-0 lead, you choke it. You let Bama get 24 unanswered points. Basically, just hard. Oklahoma is 0-5 in the college football playoff era. So crazy. That's a crazy stat. But yeah, I think Bama and Indiana is going to be good. I'd like to see Indiana win, but
I think they should win.
I don't really have a winner picked out. I don't have a prediction here. I think it'll be. I don't know.
I got my predictions. Here go my predictions on air.
Okay. Give it to us.
Oregon will beat Texas Tech.
Oh yeah, that, you know what? That's an interesting game though. Do you find that game interesting in any way?
I think it'll be a whole bunch of points scored.
Okay.
Oregon's gonna beat Texas Tech. IU is gonna beat Alabama. Ole Miss upsets Georgia.
I agree. Yep.
Ohio State beats Miami.
Yeah, I like that.
Those are my picks.
I agree with that. I do think Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss can beat Georgia. Yeah.
Well, I think they're gonna beat them, and Lane Kiffin gonna be mad, but he still receive a bonus for winning.
Yeah.
He's the only person I think that would want Ole Miss to lose, and don't care that he won't get the bonus because he'd much rather see him lose because he's just that type of person.
Yeah, we'll see. I think they'll win. And then Ole Miss, Ohio State, that'll be interesting. But Georgia, Ohio State's always if it's Georgia and Ohio State, that's always a good game. No matter the result, it's always a good game. I know you probably you don't want to see Georgia though, right?
I don't care who we see now. Right now, I'm full confident on who we are. Bring them all, put them all together. But I'm telling you, Ohio State, Oregon, and Indiana in the Final Four, the Big Ten is slapping. It's about to be 3 teams out of 4 from the Big Ten.
There you go. Nice little hour show, Ramon. I appreciate you filling in. We got to get you here more often, man.
Oh,
Uh,
I'm good now, man. We didn't got through the athletic directors conference football season, so everything is a lot better now.
there you go. Because if you look on our new Game Time Network logo, you're directly in the middle, so you got to be here more.
I'm there, man. I'm there.
It was good to have you in. Last thing I want to ask you as we begin to wrap this up, that logo in the background. How about the Butler Bulldogs in basketball right now? They're rocking and rolling. They're doing really well.
Man. Coach
You know me,
got them good.
I'm a Butler fan. That's my favorite Indiana school, other than IU East.
Coach Mata got him doing big things, man. He was one of my favorite people when he was there when I was a young pup walking the Butler campus. He was a good guy, great guy. Always kept us first, man, the student athletes, and more of the student part, more of the person part, the whole part of the student. So, man, I'm tickled pink that my Bulldogs are playing well, man. I'm giddy like a little church girl. I'm happy like a mug. And I think Thad coming back home was the greatest thing in the world.
2026 national champions. That's what I'm betting on. I think hopefully they make the tournament. Hopefully they can win the Big East. The Big East is always tough. It's going to be an interesting down the stretch there. They got a good win over Northwestern inside Gamebridge Fieldhouse. It should be a good run down the stretch. Any other sports news you want to hit on before we get out of here?
None at all, man. It's been a great segment and great to be back.
Yes, sir. Good to be back. Last thing before we get out of here, I want to give my condolences to the family of Greg Biffle. I grew up on Greg Biffle watching NASCAR. I watched so much NASCAR. I was a Jimmy Johnson fan, but Greg Biffle was in my top 5, if you will. So just horrible thing there that happened in North Carolina. So I want to give my condolences to that and say rest in peace to Greg Biffle. I grew up on him, so hearing that news was heartbreaking. I don't think there's any other news that I want to hit on. It's been a great week of sports. NBA starting to ramp up. Trade deadlines inching closer. I'm working on some interviews as well. I'll let you know. I got to let you know who we've got in the loop. We may have another NBA announcer joining us on the show here in a couple weeks. So I'll let you know. But folks, thank you guys for watching this episode of Game Time Live. Me and Daryl may be live tomorrow at noon for an NFL recap. Usually, Ramon, we do it in the evenings. I got work at 3:00, so we're going to try to get an NFL recap in there if we can. But folks, that's going to do it. We'll see you guys for another episode of Game Time Live tomorrow on Monday at 12:00. See you guys then.